When Lionel Messi lifted the FIFA World Cup after the 2022 final in the Lusail Stadium in Qatar, he ended a lot of long waits. First off, he ended his own wait of 8 years, when, of course, in 8 years back, you remember, was when Messi and co came closest to winning a FIFA World Cup back in 2014 in Brazil. He also ended a nation's 36-year wait for a World Cup title, and he also ended what was a very long wait to add to their collection of FIFA World Cup trophies, given that Argentina are now the third team to have won 3 World Cup titles, after of course Italy, who have won it 4 times, and their arch rivals Brazil, who, lest we forget, have won it 5 times. But where does Lionel Messi and co.'s triumph in Qatar rank as far as Argentina's World Cup wins are concerned? And it's an interesting case study in some ways, because all 3 of those triumphs came really under very different circumstances. Some of them controversial in fact 2 of them controversial for reasons off the field, 1 of them controversial for reasons on the field. Where exactly do all 3 of them rank? Well, that's what I'm going to be attempting to do in this particular video. So without further ado, let's just get down to the business end of things and see where exactly do all of 3, which of these triumphs you'd rank lowest to highest. So at number 3, we have the 1978 FIFA World Cup victory. That was, of course, Argentina's first win, and on home soil no less. Now, the reason I've ranked it the lowest on the scale, despite it being their home World Cup, was that unfortunately there were a lot of corruption allegations against Argentina in that particular FIFA World Cup. In fact, there's plenty of credible stories out there that referees were intimidated to the point of actually giving Argentina favorable decisions in all of their matches, and in fact every single one of Argentina's group games kicked off at the night time, which actually gave them the advantage of knowing where it is that they stand and what it is that they need to do in order to ensure that they stayed ahead in terms of the race for the second round. Now, obviously, this was something you'd be questioning, doubters, why is it that this happened? Well, that's because, unfortunately, 1978 was the second instance of a FIFA World Cup being overshadowed by what is now in today's day and age known as sports washing. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, were you even watching the Qatar 2022 World Cup? Because that was the 4th instance after Russia in 2018 to be actually a World Cup that was overshadowed by a very totalitarian regime trying to actually whitewash their image using sports, hence the term sports washing. In 1978, Argentina's democratically elected government had been overthrown by a military regime that was, to put it politely, brutal. There were disappearances, dissidents were murdered, and there was also a trampling down on human rights. So this was seen in the outside world as a triumph that was in many ways marred, and it is unfortunately a reality too, because there was a lot of dodgy decisions that went Argentina's way. There was a lot of intimidation. There was all sorts of things that put the World Cup in favor of Argentina, which is in many ways unfortunate, because the side was led by Daniel Passarella to glory in 1978, and don't forget featured players like Mario Kempes, who was of course the top goal scorer for them in that particular tournament. Well, that was a really good side, and they could have actually won it without all of the outside interference, just actually going off the vibes of being able to play at home. Unfortunately, all of these off-field reasons mean the 1978 ranks lowest on Argentina's World Cup wins, as we are scaling all 3 of them from lowest to highest. The next one, well, this one is a bit of a controversial one, but allow me. 1986 comes in at number 2, not number 1. Yep, you heard that right. This World Cup is rightfully remembered as Diego Maradona's FIFA World Cup, and you can really understand why. He had 5 goals and 5 assists, and really was the key player around whom everything and everyone else in that Argentina team revolves. If that sounds familiar, yes, that's very much like what things was for Messi in 2022, but we're going to get to that one in just a bit. 5 goals, 5 assists for Maradona, and some of those goals were very, very, like, there was either controversy involved in them, and there was also sometimes sheer genius involved in them. Or in the case of Maradona, there was one instance where genius and controversy came together in the same match. It was, of course, that quarterfinal against England, where he not only scored the infamous hand of God, but also scored the goal of the century to give England the win. And if there's anything that can sum up Maradona, it's the fact that he could be both genius and controversial in the same match. At number 3, of course, if we're looking at the third point as to why this is the second best they've had, well, Argentina that year were really unstoppable. Don't forget, Argentina in 1986, they didn't lose a single game. Of all 7 matches that they played, they won 6 and drew only 1, and that of course came all the way back in the group stages. So they didn't lose a single game in the knockouts, because of course if they did, they would have won the trophy. But even then they didn't lose a single match even in the group stages as well. At number 3, we have of course France, the 2022 FIFA World Cup victory that of course Argentina won when they defeated France in the final. Now, why exactly do I say that this is their greatest World Cup triumph? Is well because not only did they have a relatively inexperienced squad, but this was also was well known that this would be Lionel Messi's last dance as far as his international career or his World Cup career was concerned. He had made it clear that, look, I'm not going to be playing another World Cup. This is probably going to be it. Age won't permit me, so if I have to win a World Cup, this one will have to be it. Unfortunately, it started off on the worst note because they ended up losing 2-1 to Saudi Arabia to start the tournament, which meant that at the start of the tournament, they were already on the brink of an exit. So they then had to win each and every game if they had to have any chance of winning the World Cup. Yet amazingly, that's exactly what they did. They beat Mexico in their second group stage game, beat Poland in the third group stage game, made it to the knockouts, and then won all of their knockout games, with Messi of course being the key player in that, because don't forget, he was man of the match in of course the round of 16, quarterfinal, semi-final and final. All of the matches that Argentina won, which they had to win in the knockouts, Messi was the man who led them to victory in those particular matches. So again, was it any real surprise that Argentina actually managed to go the distance? And this was not just the World Cup that gave Argentina their third title, but also ensured that Lionel Messi completed football. He's won everything that there is to be won in terms of his club career. He's won all of the individual awards that he can during his time as a player. He had, however, never won a World Cup because, again, 2021 he won the Copa America. Earlier this year he won the Finalisma, which is of course the one-off match played between the Euro champions and the South American champions. Argentina beat Italy 3-0 to win that match. Only thing that was missing, well, he's won that too. So there's nothing that you can look at in terms of, whether it be domestic or international football and say, yeah, Messi hasn't won this particular, honors. He's won everything, both as an individual and as a team man. And that is why I rate the 2022 FIFA World Cup as Argentina's greatest ever triumph from all their 3 World Cups. But that's just how I feel. What do you guys think? Well, you can let me know that in the comments, and don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you know when it is we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Then you can also go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and last but not least, don't forget to download the AajTak app. Thank you all once again for joining us. As always, I've been Shane Dias. I hope to see you with us as we keep bringing you all of the updates from the world of sport. But for now, goodbye.